You've felt this before. That heaviness at the end of the day, not just tiredness, something deeper, like your energy has been quietly pulled away and you don't even know where it went. You wake up, you do what you're supposed to do, you help the people you love, you keep things running. But at night, you feel empty, used up, and you wonder why. Here's what most people don't realize. Life doesn't just drain your energy because you're busy. It drains your energy because you're answering requests you never agreed to. Requests you didn't even notice. Requests that come from everywhere. From people around you, from the world, even from yourself. These requests don't come with words. Nobody asks you directly. But they're there. And every day you say yes to them without thinking. You give your energy away, piece by piece, until there's nothing left for you. And the hardest part? You don't even see it happening. You think you're just tired. You think it's normal. You think everyone feels this way. But it's not normal. And once you see what these requests are, everything changes. You start to understand where your energy is really going, and you get to choose whether to keep giving it away or not. In this reflection, I'm going to walk you through the 5 hidden requests that drain your life energy. Not because I want to upset you, but because once you see them clearly, you can finally stop answering them. You can take your energy back, and you can start living in a way that feels lighter, calmer, more like yourself. If you're enjoying this message, subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who needs it. Now, let's continue. And the real reason this happens is not what most people think. The first hidden request is this: prove that you're good enough. Every day, without realizing it, you're trying to prove something to your family, to your friends, to people who don't even matter. You're trying to show them that you're capable, that you're doing well, that you're not failing. And this request never ends, because no matter what you do, it's never quite enough to feel safe. You help someone, and you wonder if they noticed. You finish something, and you think about what's next. You try to be kind, and you worry that it wasn't enough. This isn't your fault. This request started a long time ago. Maybe when you were young, and someone made you feel like you had to earn love. Or maybe later, when the world taught you that you're only valuable if you're useful. But here's the truth. You don't have to prove anything. You never did. You were enough before you started trying, and you're enough now even if you stop. Think about how much energy you give to this. Think about how often you say yes to things you don't want to do just so people will see you as good. Think about how many times you push yourself harder than you need to just to feel like you matter. It's exhausting, and it never stops because the request is impossible. You can't prove yourself to everyone, and even if you could, it wouldn't change how you feel inside. Does this sound familiar? Have you spent years trying to be good enough for people who never asked you to be? The second you stop answering this request, something lifts. Not immediately, not all at once, but slowly you start to feel like yourself again. You stop performing, you stop pretending, you stop giving energy to something that was never real in the first place. But there's something deeper. The second hidden request is this. You've done this your whole life. Someone is upset and you try to fix it. Someone is disappointed and you try to make it better. Someone is angry and you try to calm them down. You don't do this because you're weak. You do it because you care, because you don't want anyone to suffer, because you think it's your job to make sure everyone around you feels okay. But here's what happens. You start living your life around other people's feelings. You stop saying what you really think because you don't want to upset anyone. You stop doing what you need to do because someone might not like it. You hold yourself back over and over just to keep the peace. And nobody asked you to do this, not directly, but the request is there. Every time someone gets upset, you feel responsible. Every time someone struggles, you think you should help. Every time there's tension, you think it's your fault if you don't smooth it over. This takes everything from you, because other people's feelings are not something you can control. You can care about them, you can be kind, but you can't make everyone comfortable all the time. It's impossible. Think about how much energy you spend managing other people's emotions.
Think about how often you change what you say or what you do just to avoid a reaction. Think about how tired you are from trying to keep everyone happy when you can't even keep yourself steady. Have you felt this? Have you noticed how much you bend yourself to fit what others need? You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to let people feel what they feel without taking it on. You're allowed to live your life even if it makes someone uncomfortable. That's not cruelty, that's just honesty. And this is where most people get hurt.
The third hidden request is this: stay busy to prove you matter. If you're not doing something, you feel guilty. If you're not productive, you feel lazy. If you're resting, you think you're wasting time. This is one of the cruelest requests because it never gives you permission to stop. There's always something more to do, always another task, always another person who needs help, always another reason to keep moving. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that your value comes from what you do, not from who you are. You started thinking that if you stop, you're not important anymore. But that's not true. You matter whether you're busy or not. You matter when you're resting. You matter when you're doing nothing at all. Your worth doesn't come from how much you accomplish. Think about how much of your life is spent in motion. Not because you want to be moving, but because you think you have to. You fill your days with things that don't really matter to you just so you can feel like you're contributing. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted. Not because you did something meaningful, but because you answered a request that was never real. This request comes from everywhere. From the way people talk about success, from the way the world measures value, from the voice in your head that tells you you're not doing enough. But you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to keep running just to feel like you exist. You're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to stop proving that you deserve to be here. Does this sound like your life? Have you been moving non-stop, thinking that's what you're supposed to do? The moment you stop answering this request, you'll feel something you haven't felt in years. Space, quiet, peace, not emptiness, just calm. But it doesn't stop there. The fourth hidden request is this: ignore what you need. You've been taught to put yourself last, not with words, but with actions, with little lessons that came from everywhere. Don't ask for too much. Don't be selfish. Don't make it about you. So you learn to silence yourself. You learn to wait until everyone else was taken care of before you even thought about what you needed. And most of the time, by the time everyone else was okay, there was nothing left for you. You tell yourself this is fine. You tell yourself it's just how life works. You tell yourself that caring about your own needs is selfish or wrong. But it's not. Your needs matter. They've always mattered. And ignoring them doesn't make you a better person. It just makes you tired. Think about how often you skip rest because someone needs you. Think about how often you say yes when your body is screaming no. Think about how often you push yourself past your limit because you don't feel like you're allowed to stop. This request is quiet, but it's one of the most damaging. Because when you ignore your own needs long enough, you forget what they even are. You stop knowing what you want. You stop feeling what you feel. You become numb to yourself. And then one day, you realize you've been living a life that has nothing to do with you. You've been answering everyone else's requests. You've been giving energy to everything except the one person who actually needs it: you. Have you noticed this? Have you been putting yourself last for so long that you don't even know what it feels like to come first? You don't have to do this anymore. You're allowed to care about yourself. You're allowed to rest when you're tired. You're allowed to say no when you need to. That's not selfishness. That's just survival. And it gets clearer once you see the next part. The fifth hidden request is this: you've been doing this for years. Someone asks how you are and you say, "I'm good," even when you're not, even when you're falling apart inside. You don't do this because you're dishonest. You do it because you think no one wants to hear the truth. You think people will be uncomfortable if you're honest. You think you'll be too much. So you smile. You keep going. You act like everything is okay. And all the while, you're carrying something heavy that no one else can see. This request takes more energy than almost anything else, because pretending is exhausting. Holding yourself together when you're breaking takes everything you have, and the worst part is, you do it alone. Think about how many times you've hidden how you really feel. Think about how many conversations you've had where you didn't say what was actually happening. Think about how tired you are from keeping up a version of yourself that isn't real. Nobody asked you to do this directly, but the world made it clear. Don't complain. Don't bring people down. Don't be negative. Don't make it awkward. So you learn to carry your struggles quietly. You learn to smile through the pain. You learn to pretend you're fine even when you're not. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone a performance. You don't have to be okay all the time. You don't have to hide your struggle just to make other people comfortable. Have you been pretending? Have you been putting on a face that doesn't match what's really happening inside? You're allowed to be honest. You're allowed to say, "I'm not okay." You're allowed to stop performing strength when you feel weak. That's not failure. That's just being human. And when you stop pretending, something shifts. You stop using energy to maintain an image. You start using it to actually live. But here's the part most people overlook. These 5 requests don't come from bad people. They don't come from anyone trying to hurt you. Most of the time, they come from a world that taught you wrong lessons, and sometimes they come from you. You've been asking yourself to prove you're good enough. You've been asking yourself to keep everyone comfortable. You've been asking yourself to stay busy. You've been asking yourself to ignore your needs. You've been asking yourself to pretend you're fine. And you've been doing it for so long that it feels normal. It feels like this is just what life is. This is just what you're supposed to do. But it's not. These requests are draining you. They're taking your energy and giving you nothing in return. And the longer you answer them, the emptier you feel. Think about your life right now. Think about where your energy goes every day. How much of it is going to these 5 things? How much of it is going to requests you never agreed to? And then think about this. What would happen if you stopped answering them? What would happen if you stopped proving yourself? What would happen if you let people feel uncomfortable? What would happen if you rested when you needed to? What would happen if you listened to your own needs? What would happen if you told the truth about how you really feel? You wouldn't fall apart. You wouldn't lose everything. You wouldn't become a bad person. You'd just start living honestly. You'd start keeping your energy for yourself. You'd start feeling lighter. Does this make sense? Can you see how much of your life has been spent answering these hidden requests? You don't have to do it anymore. You don't have to keep giving yourself away. You don't have to keep living for everyone else. You can choose differently, and it starts with seeing what's happening clearly. And this is where everything begins to change. Here's what happens when you stop answering these requests. At first, it feels strange. You feel guilty. You feel selfish. You feel like you're doing something wrong. That's normal, because you've been trained to give your energy away. You've been trained to put yourself last. You've been trained to answer every request without thinking. So when you stop, it feels uncomfortable. People might react. They might be confused. They might even be upset, because they were used to you saying yes. They were used to you taking care of everything. They were used to you pretending. But that discomfort doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means you're doing something different. And slowly, as you keep going, something changes. You start to feel more like yourself. You start to have energy again. You start to notice that you're not as tired. You're not as heavy. You're not as empty. Think about what this would feel like. Think about waking up and not immediately thinking about what everyone else needs. Think about going through your day and only doing what actually matters to you. Think about resting without guilt. Think about saying no without apologizing. This isn't fantasy. This is what happens when you stop draining yourself. This is what happens when you take your energy back. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to cut everything off and walk away. You just have to start noticing. Start paying attention to where your energy goes. Start asking yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I think I have to? And when you catch yourself answering one of these hidden requests, you can choose to stop. You can say no. You can step back. You can protect yourself. Have you ever felt this kind of freedom? Have you ever lived without constantly giving yourself away? It's possible, it's real, and it's waiting for you the moment you decide to stop answering requests that were never yours to carry. But there's one more thing you need to understand. The truth is, no one can take your energy without your permission. That sounds harsh, but it's important because once you understand this, you stop being a victim. You stop blaming other people. You stop feeling powerless. These 5 hidden requests only drain you because you're answering them. And you're answering them because somewhere along the way you agreed to. Not out loud, but in your actions, in your choices, in the way you live. Maybe you agreed because you thought you had to. Maybe you agreed because you were scared of what would happen if you didn't. Maybe you agreed because you didn't know there was another option. But now you know. Now you see what's happening. And that means you can choose differently. You can stop proving yourself. You can stop keeping everyone comfortable. You can stop staying busy just to feel worthy. You can stop ignoring your needs. You can stop pretending you're fine. Not all at once, not perfectly, but one choice at a time. Think about the next time someone asks something of you. Think about the next time you feel that pull to give your energy away. What would happen if you paused? What would happen if you checked in with yourself first? What would happen if you said no when you needed to? Nothing terrible, nothing catastrophic, just honesty, just boundaries, just you taking care of yourself the way you've been taking care of everyone else. Does this feel possible? Can you see yourself doing this? It won't be easy at first, but it will get easier. And every time you choose yourself, you'll feel a little bit stronger, a little bit clearer, a little bit more alive. You've been giving your energy away for so long, and it's time to stop. Not because the people around you are bad, but because your energy is yours, and you deserve to keep it. And once you understand this, everything becomes clear. So here's what I want you to remember. You have a limited amount of energy. Every day you wake up with it, and every day you decide where it goes. For too long, you've been giving it to hidden requests. Requests to prove yourself, requests to keep everyone happy, requests to stay busy, requests to ignore your needs, requests to pretend everything is fine. And those requests have drained you. They've left you tired, empty, and wondering why life feels so heavy. But now you see them. Now you know what's happening, and that changes everything. You don't have to answer these requests anymore. You don't have to keep giving yourself away. You're allowed to keep your energy for yourself. You're allowed to live in a way that feels lighter, calmer, more honest. This doesn't make you selfish. It makes you aware. It makes you strong. It makes you real. Think about your life moving forward. Think about what it would feel like to wake up without that weight. Think about what it would feel like to go through your day only doing what matters to you. Think about what it would feel like to rest without guilt, to say no without fear, to be honest without pretending. That life is possible. It's not far away. It's right here. It just requires you to stop answering requests that were never yours. You've lived long enough to know what exhaustion feels like. You've given enough of yourself. And now it's time to take your energy back. Not because you're angry, not because you're bitter, but because you're finally ready to live for yourself, to honor yourself, to protect yourself. And that's not something to feel bad about. That's something to be proud of.
If this message helped you, subscribe so you don't miss the next reflection. Leave a like and share this with someone who needs to hear this today. You deserve to feel alive again, and it starts the moment you stop draining yourself.